Well, joining us now for the Kenya Market Update is Steve Biko, Director at Hidalgo Group. Steve, I understand that the energy sector as well as power in Kenya has been a rather hot issue for the moment, and I understand that the bills, or rather the tariffs, are managing to hit key sectors in the Kenyan economy. How drastic is the situation?
Actually, first, there's a lot of confusion as to exactly the direction the Energy Regulation Commission is actually heading towards, because those news that they plan to reduce the tariffs so that to be able to spur economic growth. But this morning, Kenyans are waking up to the news that as beginning of December, energy bills will actually double, especially for domestic users and commercial users. And this actually has been the key debate, because at the end of the day, if the current administration does not really work at reducing the cost of getting access to energy to spark growth, then things are actually going to be very hard, and this will actually have a negative impact on every other aspect of the economy, because this will ultimately impact transport, then this will ultimately impact how the ordinary Kenyan can be able to access basic goods, and this will affect agriculture, will affect manufacturing, will affect the services and allied industry. And the most unfortunate thing is that there's been little or no, in terms of investment in the sector, because I'm thinking it will have been prudent for the government to actually put more focus on the energy aspect before it does in another aspect of infrastructure to be able to spur economic growth, because at the end of the day, the country is actually spending more to just access energy in terms of production or consumption. And with a population of 44 million people, almost only 2 million people have access to energy. This is a very poor number, given the fact that Kenya is a leading economy in the region, and we're actually aspiring to be to move into the aspect of a second income earning country.
Keeping with the energy situation, Steve, are there no consultations taking place between the energy regulator, the energy supplier, as well as the different sectors that might be impacted by these increase in tariffs?
There have been a lot of consultations going forward, especially when the new administration took over. We've seen the Deputy President actually ordering the relevant stakeholders not to increase power tariffs, to be able to be mindful of what Kenyans actually going through, because at the end of the day, we're looking at heavy taxation in the region. We're looking at high tariff bills, and the interesting thing is nothing's really happening. Even right now, actually being able to just connect to new electricity connections is actually very expensive. And we've seen that currently I'm paying 2 shillings per unit that I'm using for electricity below 50 units, and it's actually going to double to 3.9 shillings in the beginning of December. So despite the fact there are a lot of consultations going on, it's not reflecting or bearing any positive news to the ground. And we've seen a lot of miscommunication between the government and the relevant stakeholders in energy. And the only way forward is to increase key significant investment in the region to enable, if there's better and sustainable infrastructure in energy, then the cost of accessing energy can actually reduce significantly.
Well, moving from energy to one sector which appears to be trying to woo customers and clients in Kenya, that happens to be Safaricom, who are looking to link buildings to the fiber optic grid for free. What's the uptake been to this?
Let me just, to be honest, Safaricom has come up with the most amazing management system any corporate company has ever done, because at the end of the day, what Safaricom is actually doing is that it's going to tap into the middle and upper class corporate clients who actually have a lot of usage in terms of data. We've seen that Safaricom's synergy in terms of management, in terms of marketing strategies to actually focus on data and not voice. And they've come up with very interesting aspect, because at the end of the day, by linking up buildings for free, it means that all the people accessing or using those buildings will have an option but use Safaricom infrastructure in terms of data access, and this will actually put it the leading provider in terms of data. This has a lot of positive aspects for Safaricom. One, we're seeing its performance at the stock market actually becoming one of the best in Africa. Second, we're going to see that its bottom revenue is actually going to go up. And at the end of the day, it's positioning itself as a brand that can actually offer solutions that are reliable to the customers. So this is very interesting, and going forward, a lot of people are actually going to see how it's actually going to execute this, because at the end of the day, it's also offered to give free primary schools free internet, and it asks for more spectrum in terms of coverage.
Just on that, it seems as though technology is really taking off in Kenya, because we also recently saw the launch of a new e-commerce form that goes by the e-commerce company, that goes by the name of TradeGood, looking to launch its operations in Kenya. How might that link up to a deal just as big as Safaricom's?
We've seen that the aspect of logistics in the country have actually been the worst. When you're putting stuff, containers at the port of Mombasa take forever to actually get to the destination. E-commerce is actually going to make it easier for importers, buyers and sellers to actually be in touch and ensure that the goods actually reach the destination on time. It's going to reduce the inconvenience caused by lack of communication and lack of better infrastructure in terms of coordinating to import things. And this is very key. And the infrastructure provided by Safaricom and other mobile providers is actually going to be very key. But given the fact that Safaricom has been able to go ahead and lay significant infrastructure, this is actually going to be significant. So we're seeing Safaricom actually being able to penetrate in every sphere, every sector of the economy in terms of providing solutions that are actually needed to improve businesses and reduce costs.